So, it's been quite a while, and what has got me back into talking about basketball? Honestly, it's the Olympics. It is the Olympics right now. It's when I'm watching the most basketball I watch is international basketball. I watch a lot of this, and while, yeah, I'm not the biggest NBA fan in the world, I do love watching the sport of basketball, and it's great watching the Olympics. It's a completely different game of basketball. The game's called differently. It's a little more physical. Yes, there are still fouls called, but certain rules in Europe not in Europe, in FIBA, really are stuff that should be brought into the NBA. Whereas if you fake somebody up and you jump into them, it's not a defensive foul. You cannot enter someone else's cylinder and draw a foul. That's a rule that needs to be brought into the NBA. And it's just even a slight bit more physical. Defense, it's more so that there's just more pride in the defense than anything. I'm going to speak on that a little bit later. I'm talking about Team USA. But let's recap over what we have seen so far in the Olympics. So the first game that everyone pretty much saw was this game right here. 83-76, France versus USA. Like, a result that I called it. Like, if you guys, I assume all you guys do know I run a 2K channel, where the vast majority of my audience would be are younger. And I remember I was live on stream one time talking about how Nando De Colo is going to give USA trouble, how when Gobert can camp in the key, he's going to be a lot better in international play. And people laughed. Who's laughing now? Team USA, I don't think they brought the correct roster of players. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But it was just it's a performance that's been a long time coming. Like, you can't struggle as badly as they have in exhibition games and then expect the Olympics to go smoothly. It's just not going to happen. And then, a game that a lot of people really did not... Like, obviously the Australia-Nigeria game. Australia managed to get quite a decent win. This was a close game all the way up until the fourth. And this game was neck and neck at halftime. Nigeria, I would still... Like, there's a reason why Australia are the #1 ranked team in the world. Are they the favorites for the gold medal? No. If you are saying anyone but the USA are favorites for the gold medal, in my opinion, you're crazy if you're betting against that team. Like, if it's USA versus the field, I'd say it's probably 50-50, but if you're betting on a specific team, USA are still the favorites. But Patty Mills obviously showing why he is just a god of international play. The last 3 Olympics, he's been exceptional. And we can't forget the Australia team, even in 2012, when they were most of them except for Bogut were babies, they still were put it up to America for 3 quarters. In 2016, they put it up to America until the 4th quarter. And then they had a pretty decent World Cup as well. And these guys are all used to playing with each other. Joe Ingles, Dellavedova, Patty Mills, their big men are quite decent. And then just adding in Matisse Thybulle helps. And I honestly I don't think losing Ben Simmons makes any difference for this Australia team. I really don't, just due to the way the style they play. Another game that a lot of people didn't really notice was the Italy versus Germany game. So I was very surprised to see that Germany went off to an early lead. Like, I was kind of in shock, because obviously we know about a lot of the Italian players. Again, this season I haven't watched too much, so a lot of this German team, like, you've got Bonga chipping in with 13 points. We've got Maudo Low here with 24 points. Again, you've got a German team which wasn't really expected to do much in this Olympics, coming in and giving Italy a run for their money. And Italy knocked out Serbia. They're one of the better teams. But what is one of the craziest games was the almost comeback made in the Iran versus Czech Republic game. So a lot of people have completely written off Iran and think that America are going to win by 60 points. I do think there is almost a 0% chance that the US win or that Iran beat America. And I think that the Czech Republic versus America game is going to be a close one. If you are the USA, I would be worried about playing Czech Republic. But fair play to Iran. They were down 19 points. 21 points with the fourth. I went 32-17 in the 4th quarter. It's the good Czech Republic team who knocked out Canada. The Czech Republic have Jan Vesely, they have Satoransky, and then the Iran team, who have been playing quite well in the Asian competitions, being led by Mohammad Jamshidi and the 36-year-old Hamed Haddadi. I mispronounced his name there. But yeah, he's just kind of been around forever. Again, have I watched much of Iran play basketball? Not really, but I've been looking at the occasional box scores. Like, I just kind of keep up with international play a little bit, and this guy seems to have been around since I started watching basketball. He's been around forever. So fair play to the Iran team for what was almost an incredible comeback. And then this game right here, the Luka Doncic game. 48 points for Luka Doncic, lads. Argentina, being led by a 41-year-old Luis Scola, managed to lose by 18 points to Slovenia, where Luka Doncic had 48. 48 points for Luka Doncic. I think, can we just say this right now, that Luka Doncic is the best individual player in basketball. And I don't mean that he's the best player in basketball. I mean that if you want one player to score as many points as possible for you, and if you have no major talent around them, there is no player right now in basketball that can lead a team to do as well as Luka Doncic. Yes, LeBron James has done that in the past. And has Luka Doncic hit the heights of like 2018 LeBron James? No, obviously not. Obviously not, but Father Time has hit LeBron James. Unfortunately, LeBron James isn't what he was in 2018. You can still argue he's the best player in the world. You still argue he's one of them. He's just not what he was in 2018. But I think Luka Doncic is really, he is the next up in that type of role, honestly. But one thing I'm just going to say is, though, that a lot of people are hyping up this Slovenia team to win the championship. They conceded 100 points in FIBA. They conceded 100 points. They're going to need Luka to drop 45 a game if they want to win. Like, they have, again, they're in Group C, which is Japan and Spain. Japan are no pushovers, and Spain are Spain. And let's be real, Spain with Ricky Rubio look like they're medal contenders. Spain without Ricky Rubio look like the worst team in the competition. Like, if you're looking at Ricky Rubio right here, plus 27. And you're looking at some other guys. You've got Sergio Rodriguez, who was minus 16. Willy Hernan Gomez was minus 5. How did Usman Garuba minus 6? This guy here could end up getting drafted. This guy was like, when he was 16, he was playing for Real Madrid. This Garuba guy. But the Japanese team are no pushovers either. Rui Hachimura, Yuta Watanabe. Like, they are no pushovers. And they're at home. I get there's no home crowd, but they're still at home. So this is not going to be... There's no guarantee Slovenia make it out of this group. I'm being dead serious. This is a tough group. But Luka Doncic, congratulations to Luka Doncic. One of the best performances, individual performances I have ever seen. But for people tipping Slovenia to win the whole thing, man, this Slovenian team is not as good as the Eurobasket team. If you guys can see this team right here, it's not zoomed in. This Eurobasket team, you've got a young Luka Doncic on the team, who, while he's definitely was not as good as Luka Doncic is right now, not even close, you've still got Goran Dragic, Anthony Randolph, and a few other pieces. This team goes where Luka goes, and considering the fact they conceded 100 points, 100 points in a FIBA game, Luka has to average. If Luka averages less than 45, I think Luka might have dropped 40 points for him to win another game. I'm not sure they win a game without Luka dropping 40 points. Like, that is, unless of course they go and triple team Luka and just let him ping passes around, which we all know he can do. I really don't see that happening. To be completely honest, I do not see that happening. And then we just got to talk about it. We got to talk about Greg Popovich and the USA team. We got to talk about just everything about it. Like, he made no controversial decisions in picking his team, outside of the Kevin Love one, which I personally don't believe was a controversial decision. Because again, he's been there, he's done that. Your 12th man doesn't really play much. You might as well just bring a glue guy or someone that's a good locker room guy. But at the end of the day, lads, Coach K made some ballsy decisions, which Popovich hasn't done. Like, there is no reason to start Dame, KD, Zach LaVine. Like, why? Why? Except for the fact, they're the best players. That's not how basketball works. Start Drew Holiday. Bring Dame off the bench. Do what Coach K did. And they win. What Coach K did. Coach K never started his best five. Coach K had D Wade coming off the bench, balling. Coach K had Kobe acting as a primary defender until the finals. Coach K would go 5-5-5. He would constantly be rotating players in. And all of a sudden, it's like players would get tired. They'd have another all-NBA player come off the bench. And newsflash, they still do. You look at Tatum coming off the bench. Why is KD just walking around the court, sauntering around the court? Like, he's just there. He's just there. And like, what it looks like is, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's not about national pride. Maybe it's not about national pride. Maybe that mightn't be it. Maybe, but they're clearly not putting in the effort of the other teams. Like, we saw the biggest possession of the game yesterday happened when Nando De Colo tipped the pass, dived to save a ball out of bounds. Then Gobert misses the layup. Yabusele dives to save the ball out of bounds, hits it to Evan Fournier, bang, 3. France dived to save 2 balls out of bounds. The one time we saw someone dive out of bounds was when, dive from US, was when Dame dived nowhere near the ball. That just looked like I don't know what he was doing. Then he freaking tried to Grayson Allen them. Like, it's just, it's the weirdest thing. I genuinely believe, this is my opinion on all, and I hope I'm wrong, that for every other country, it is the biggest thing pride-wise to put on your country's jersey. That is, for all these guys, for all these French players. For Luka Doncic, I can guarantee you, him putting on a Slovenia jersey is better than him getting drafted for the NBA. As someone who has, I was trying to think, no, I don't actually have my national team jersey. As someone who has pulled on the national team jersey, there is no better feeling. There is no better feeling to be able to represent your country. There's no better feeling winning for your country. But what's clear with these American players is that their greatest achievement is the NBA championship. And that most of them want to play in the Olympics just so they can have it on their CV that I made the Olympics team. And it's just assumed they win the gold medal. But now, it's not like they're not still significantly better. It's that if you're playing against a team who will die on the floor, like a lot of these international teams, and you're only, say if America are this level, and France, it used to be America were this level, and other teams are like this level. And then in terms of like the more effort the other teams put in, they'd be a little bit closer, but they still weren't as good as America, especially when there was likes of Kobe there who just could not take losing. And then now there's a little bit of a gap in talent. There's not that much of a gap. There's not that much of a gap. Just like sometimes the worst team in the NBA can be the best team in the NBA. The NBA talent gap is so small that anyone, in a one-off game, anyone can beat anyone. But the thing is, what's happened is that this America team seems to have just assumed that because they have the most talent, they can win every game. And that's just not the case, especially coming down the stretch. And it's funny because there's no way of fixing it. You hear people talking about how Popovich is ruining the team. I don't think Popovich has done a good job. I don't. But it's not all his fault. It's not all Popovich's fault. It's not all KD's fault. It's not all Dame's fault. You've got a team of guys in France who have played a lot together, and you've got an America team who have no idea what they're doing. They don't. They have no idea. You've got guys passing up wide open shots because they don't know if they should take them or not. And in fairness, I have to admit, the players are trying to fit in. And that's one of the things. They're just bamboozled as to what's going on. They have no idea what's happening. And I've explained this a few times live on stream. There's a difference in how players grow up. These American players, most of them are the first option on their team from the time they are 12 years old to now. And then you're asking them with a 3-week training camp, do something different. Whereas in Europe, they play with their club teams, and at 16, they might get called up to their senior team. Or at 15, 16, they might either be called up or start training with their club senior team. But they're the worst player on that team. Like, these guys, a lot of these European guys have experience being the worst player, the best player on all their individual teams, the worst player, a mid-level player, playing every role. Whereas the US guys, hey guys, don't. The biggest problem with it all is it's not Popovich's fault. It's honestly not. It's not Pop's fault. It's not the fault of Kevin Durant who they're blaming. The reason why Drew Holiday has been so good is that he can play the same role. He can be a third option on the floor, even though he did actually take the most shots. But Drew Holiday's great at being a third option. That's why I was dead set before it. I said they should have started Drew over Dame. Because Dame Lillard has never in his life been a second option. He went to a mid-major school where he's one of the biggest scorers in college basketball and went straight in as a starter. Kevin Durant has rightfully so been the best player on every team he's ever been on. Zach LaVine, again, Zach LaVine, I've never seen someone just pass up so many wide open shots because he just didn't know what he was doing. But it's a weird one. It's a weird one with Team USA. I don't know how it's fixed. I don't know what they can do to fix it. But I can confidently say this. If Team USA brought Dame Lillard, Kevin Durant, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and a bunch of role players, they win. They win the whole thing. And I'm pretty confident of that. I'm pretty confident of that. I don't think it's that much to do with the rules change. I don't think it's to do with the rule change. I don't think it's to do with pop. I don't think it's to do with the basketball. I don't think it's to do with the three-point line. I don't think it's to do with the 3 seconds in the key. But everything that has been building since 2008, really, that the other countries have been getting close. Spain were close in 2008. Spain were close in 2012. The 2019 World Cup, obviously Spain losing. Everything has been building up since then. And this is what has happened. This is what is going to continue to happen unless the USA bring in a proper international program. Keep your panel of players. Keep players that have played together before. Don't just pick a random roster of 12 right before the Olympics and expect to win, because that's not going to happen. It did not work in 2019. It just about worked in 2016. They beat France by 3 and Serbia by 3 and struggled against Australia. It just about worked in 2012. Honestly, it just about worked in 2012. They almost lost Lithuania. But I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. But Greg Popovich needs to do something. And Luka Doncic may have just played the best individual game of his career. So anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.